Dara, it is an exciting time for the country. In the last 12 months, over 30,000 homes have started to be constructed. In the last year, 16,000 people have successfully bought their first home. But right now, I'm 23, and for a lot of people, a lot of young people, working professionals just coming out of college, or maybe your guards, nurses, teachers, there's an affordability gap. And I know last year in the Housing for All plan, it was announced about the shared equity scheme. Can you tell me, what is this first home scheme? I've seen a lot of influencers talking about it over the last week, and I want to hear it from yourself. What does it mean?
Sure, look, firstly, I back home ownership, and this government does, our party does, and I want to see that. And I know you've referenced the issues that you've had and many of your peers, people who are working, coming out of college and actually been able to try and buy a house. This is probably the most significant intervention we've ever made. The first home shared equity, what that does is actually backs people to buy their home by the state actually taking in equity in their home.
Yeah.
So basically you get your mortgage as you normally would. Most people I talk to, they can get a mortgage, but they're saving for a deposit, but there's just that bit
gap.
left, right? So that gap we're going to fill.
Okay.
And we're not just talking about doing it, we spent 2 years in working through the legislation, working through the scheme.
Yeah.
So within the next few days, we're going to launch this and it'll be open for application.
Okay.
So really the interest in it has been incredible.
Yeah.
And why it's been is because people need this. And I'm delighted that we're going to be able to do it, because what it's going to see in the short term is that people are now stuck renting or living with their folks into their 30s, and their folks want them gone.
Yeah, they want them gone.
They do. This is the way to move it forward. So first home shared equity opened, it frankly, in my view, it'll be a game changer.
Yeah, so let's just take your average couple, two people earning 35 grand each. The household income is 70 grand. They're working hard, they're paying their taxes, and they want to get out of the rent trap, they want to buy, and they want to have, as you said, a lot of these people, they've been saving a bit of a deposit, they're probably looking to avail of the help to buy as well. How will the numbers work, say, for your typical family?
Yeah, for your typical family, they're the people that we want to focus this at. Now, firstly, I'm not putting in any arbitrary salary caps, right?
Yeah.
Because some people are doing really well out there, and there's good salaries coming in, but they still can't get the mortgage that they want, right? So basically what this will do, you're 3.5 times your joint income for your mortgage. You can access help to buy, which is up to 30,000. So you get your mortgage, you get your help to buy that helps you with the deposit. If you have a gap, which a lot of people do, to buy a new home, this is a new build home, buy a new home, we will actually give that chunk in equity. And it's not a second mortgage, it's actually an equity stake.
Yeah.
So there's zero repayment on it from year 0 to 6, and a very small management charge on it over the course of it, of about 1.5% over the term. And then you can buy it out at any stage. Or not, if you sell at the end, you pay back the percentage that you got. So up to 30%. So up to a third. And actually when you look at a lot of the figures, you're talking to people across the country that it's that they're 15-20% short, and this does it for them. So instead of others just talking about it and using people as this type of nearly like a whole, trying to get people in one sense who are dissatisfied and have lost a lot of hope, trying to use that and use it in a negative way, we've tried to get on with actually providing solutions here in this space.
And so, say if I was to get support from the state, they take that 30% stake. I actually know today that what the rate is over the next 30 years of the mortgage.
Absolutely.
So just so I'm right, the first 5 years you pay 0%.
Nothing.
The next 10 years is what's
what you're looking at doing, year 0 to 6, nothing. Okay. And this isn't a mortgage, so it's equity. So it's not a debt. Okay, in that sense. So you'll pay a servicing charge that averages after year 6 of about 1.5% over the average. Up to 30 years. What we've seen in other schemes, now our scheme is better than the other ones I've looked at because it's targeted at those who need them, is people will decide, you know what, I'll buy out that piece. And a lot of people actually do. Because think about it this way, I'm meeting people, you know them too, who are renting and paying €2 grand a month.
Yeah.
If they could get a mortgage, right, they're paying €1,100 a month.
Exactly, yeah.
So they get a mortgage and they get their home under this scheme. They've €800-900 a month that they didn't have before.
Yeah.
That's a good thing. That's good for them. It's good for their families
brilliant.
and everything. So they may decide, over the course of it, they don't have to, that you know what, we're going to pay off chunks of this equity, or we're going to buy it out.
Yeah.
And that's good. But there's no requirement to do that. And when you do, all that money goes back into the Affordable Housing Fund. So this fund is open, and whilst we're targeting 8,000 homes, I see their potential, should this take off, which I hope it will, to do a lot more than that. So we're putting 400 million in, 200 million from the state, 200 million from the banks, matched on a one-for-one basis.
Very good.
And it'll be a simple application process, and we'll have all the information in the firsthomescheme.ie website will launch very shortly as well. You'll be able to go into the calculator, see what it means to you and to your family. And the other good thing, it doesn't discriminate against singles. You know, this is the thing we've always found. A lot of people, couples have joint incomes together, they maybe have a little bit more help, but I'm very conscious as well, a lot of single people there.
Let's take an example. Let's take an example of somebody who's single and they're working professional and they're earning like 50 grand. So essentially they can borrow about 175.
Yeah.
But calling a spade, you won't get much for 175 where I'm from in Galway City or Dublin. Yeah. So essentially a 250 grand apartment or maybe a 270 grand apartment, the state could take, they take that 30% stake in that essentially.
It's going to be, it's going to give a lot of that in reach to that.
It's going to make it possible.
It will make it possible. There's no question about that. What we'll also do is, as I said earlier on, you can access the Help to Buy scheme.
Yeah.
So a lot of people who want to buy are saving, and they've been saving because we want people to have deposits, right? So they're doing that. That's good. Yeah. You get your Help to Buy, which we want to make sure as a party is kept next year, by the way, and the shared equity wraps around that. So normal mortgage with any of your three-man banks out there, you get that normal financial underwriting, and through that process you'll apply for your equity note.
So say I'm mortgage approved, I'm ready to rock, I want to buy a home. I know currently AIB, Bank of Ireland and Permanent TSB are signed up, ready to go, and I know that the other lenders are eager to get on as well. How quickly can I move on it from the launch of the scheme?
You'll be able to, pretty much from the launch of the scheme, we'll have the portal will be open. We have the administration set up behind it already.
Brilliant.
We've the law in place. So we passed the Affordable Housing Act last year. So it's all there, all the legal apparatus is there, all of that's done. So basically, once this scheme opens, you'll be able to apply. Okay, and even if you have mortgage approval already, to answer your question, you basically just apply for your equity piece.
Cool.
You'll be able to apply for that through the portal, or indeed through the three banks that you're talking about.
Yeah, will the banks manage that process? Or?
Yeah, they will.
Cool.
Yeah, they will. So, and it makes it's pretty seamless. Okay, we got to start it and see how it works.
That's the idea.
Through.
Yeah, there's always teething with these, but I think it'll be.
We've tried to keep it as simple as possible, and like that's what we want. The first thing is we need people to understand what it is.
Yeah.
And to understand actually that this is. Gives real hope to people who have been stuck. The generation rent that people are always talking about, and rightly so, it gives them a chance because most renters don't want to be renting, and most renters want to buy.
That's it. And people, at the end of the day, when you're paying down a mortgage, you're gaining that ownership in your home, and you can take pride in that. And I think, as you mentioned, people paying $2,000 in rent. This scheme is particularly aimed at new homes.
Yes.
And so that means people are going to be buying, that what they're paying their $2,000 for, they're actually going to be able to pay $1,100, but they're going to get an A-rated home that's energy efficient. I think that's really important to mention as well.
The reason why we focus at new homes and new builds as well, because it is a supply side measure. Because in everything we're doing in housing for us, trying to build up that housing supply after 10 years of undersupply. So we need more homes. So this actually focuses at new homes, and like the good quality A-rated homes that are there, that sustainable homes, well designed in good communities, and this will drive more of that. So I'm actually very excited about the next couple of weeks as to how this is going to work. The response from people has been really something to behold, actually, in fairness, because I suppose after years of thinking, well, what are the government doing for us as such over the last 10, 12 years for this whole cohort of people who are working, who are paying tax, who are saving, paying rent, all that. This is it.
And so, obviously, Dara, a lot of people, they're going to say what they usually say, that this might push prices up. But what do you have to say to that?
Okay, well, there's two things. Unfortunately, house prices over the last year or two have been going up substantially. There's been no shared equity scheme.
Yeah.
Okay. This is very targeted at those who need it. It's about €75 million a year in a mortgage market that's worth 15 billion.
So it's less than 5%.
Tiny, but it's targeted at people who need it, because what we're doing is the equity piece. It's not borrowing. It's not another mortgage, okay? And I think some of those, politically, if I could say, have been very critical of it, are actually just worried it's going to work, okay? And that's fundamentally it. But look, what we want to do is get the scheme launched, get people, interacting with it, seeing what it's about, applying to it, seeing how it works. Obviously, we'll keep an eye on it. If there's any teething issues as we go through it, we'll iron them out. But this is the culmination of 2 years solid work to build a solution that's going to work for that whole cohort of people. and we've had brilliant support, you know, from all sectors on this, and certainly from the Taoiseach and Minister McGrath have been absolutely fantastic in helping me to make sure we drive this forward.
Brilliant.
So the next step is, let's get it out there.
Let's get it out there.
And let's
get it
on with
done.